Diddy trial, day 12, afternoon update. Mia testimony continued, her direct. And I want to just go back and just correct a few things and add a couple things as well. So Mia was the director of development for Revolt TV. I think I said she was the director of marketing, just one little thing I wanted to change. And then she testified that when she worked for Diddy, she had her own apartment, at first in New York City, and her roommates called her a ghost because she was never there. And then she ended up living at some of Diddy's houses when they were in LA, Miami, or whatever city. And she said that she was not allowed to lock her door. That was his rule because it was his house. But she noticed that the security guards could lock their door because she said she saw a deadbolt on the inside of one door and then a keypad on the other door. And she also testified that she wasn't allowed to leave Diddy's house without permission. She said at one time that she wanted to see her friends. She was so desperate to see them when she kind of first started work, and she left the house at 2 a.m. and she got a call that Diddy's security guards were coming to look for her or coming to get her. Now, Mia testified about violence that she experienced at the hands of Diddy and also Cassie. I mentioned this before. She went on to say there's two instances in Turks and Caicos. They were on a vacation or at some event. I did not quite get what it was, but that's not the point. The point is she woke up one night, Mia, to Cassie running into her bedroom saying, he's trying to kill me. And then they put furniture in front of the door and tried to kind of like barricade it. And then they ended up just kind of running away. And then she said she also had a visual of them like paddling off on a paddleboard at night, trying to get away from him, and as he's like yelling at them on the beach. So, and then she testified that she heard a recording that Cassie took of Diddy slapping her, and Cassie was crying. I believe this was at Cannes. Sorry, I can never say that. Cannes, the film festival. And when she first heard this, or when it was taken, I cannot read my own notes there, but she also testified about the time that Diddy was angry at Cassie at Cannes, and Cassie had said that Diddy, was digging his hand into her thigh. And Mia, I believe, again, this is kind of the same thing, but their memories seem to be different. Mia said she saw Diddy dig his nails into Cassie's arm, and that he was kind of talking to her with like clenched teeth. And then we saw photos of Cassie with different bruises being covered up on red carpets. Mia talked about Diddy and Cassie's hotel stays. One time she went to drop something off at a hotel stay, and Cassie answered in a blue wig, and she said Cassie seemed like something was off. So much so that she's like, "Are you okay?" And she said Cassie like shut the door quickly and was like, yeah, it's fine. She said that she would do the cleanups after the hotel stays, corroborated the baby oil all over the wall, all over the desk, all of that. She also said that she was with Cassie one time in the car, and Cassie got a text message from Diddy, and Cassie was very upset by this text message, and actually it made her have a physical reaction, like she got a stomach ache or something because Diddy wanted to do a hotel stay, and Cassie kind of sighed and then again got physically ill. Mia also talked about the Louis Vuitton med bag that Diddy had with all of his drugs. And she talked about a few instances where she was kind of forced to do drugs with Diddy. One in particular where they were on a tour bus at, where was it? I'll get to that. Wherever they were, it was a tour bus, and he put out 3 plates of like white powder, and he said it was kind of like a game. One was cocaine, one was ketamine, and one was Molly. And he was like, do it and see what it is. And she didn't want to do it, and she kind of faked it, and then he kind of caught her and got up in her face and then forced her to do it. And then she said she tried to like snort it out, or snot it out, whatever, but she just felt very intimidated, and she didn't have a choice. She had to do drugs. She also talked about an instance where he threw a bowl of spaghetti at her at 3 a.m. after they got back from some party they were at, and a lot of people were at his house. This was in LA, and I guess he told her to go to IHOP. She said she'd been working since 8 a.m, and she had her period, and she's like, I have to, she couldn't tell him I have to change my tampon because he was screaming at her, like, go to IHOP. And she was trying to go to her room to get a tampon, and he was yelling at her. And she finally turned around and said she had like blood dripping down her leg. And she was just like, I can't do this. And started to like walk away, and he threw an entire bowl of spaghetti at her. And then she got a call from HR the next day saying that she was suspended without pay. She talked about how he threw a computer at her when Wi-Fi wasn't working on a movie set in 2011, and she actually said that Swizz Beatz was present for that, or he was there on the movie set in 2011. And oh, the tour bus, by the way, I did get to that note. I don't know where it was. I didn't write that down. She also said the first time she took MDMA with Diddy, he said, hey, you're part of the Breakfast Club now. She did this because, she said she felt safe and protected because he said he was there with her and his drugs were pure. And she said the Breakfast Club meant, you're in with us now. She talked about sexual assaults as well. She discussed, I think it was 3 of them. The first time, she said it was his 40th birthday at the Plaza, and he pulled her aside in the kitchen at this penthouse he rented, and she said that she took 2 shots. I felt like the government was kind of hinting that it might have been more than these 2 shots, the way the questioning was going and what she said, because she said that, she's like, I'm in my 20s, like, shots don't really affect me. She said they took 2 shots to celebrate his birthday, and he said she was doing a good job. And she said, I didn't feel right. I did not feel right. And I knew something was it was hitting me. And then she said that he forcefully like kissed her and then stuck his hand up her skirt. And the next thing she remembers, she said she came to on a chair in the living room and the sun was coming up, but she doesn't remember how she got there. She was fully clothed. But there was another incident, we think a few months later, she doesn't know the exact day. And she said that she was sleeping at Diddy's house and he came in and got on top of her. That's what woke her up, and that he raped her. And she said that they said, how did it end? And she said, well, he doesn't, she said hold on, I'll get the exact, okay. The exact word was, she doesn't know how it ended, but he couldn't leave a job unfinished. And she said all of this through tears. She paused a lot. She was very slow. And again, she was looking down for a lot of this. She talked about another time where she was in his closet unpacking or something, and he forced his in her mouth. Yeah, there was also a time when he took her phone and she had texted one of the bodyguards that he was being an a-hole or something, and they were at an office, I think it was the Revolt office in LA, took her phone, and she didn't want him to have it, and because he needed to make a call on it or something, and she kind of like chased him for it, or like walked really close to him or behind him, and he's like, what are you trying to hide on your phone? And then he ran into a bathroom and she tried to go in after him, and she said that he slammed the door on her arm multiple times and it was all bruised. And then she basically, he took her phone and she went chasing after him, and he kind of just left her there. And she went back to the Revolt office and emailed his staff and was just like, he just left me in LA. I don't have a phone, and I don't know when I'm going to get it back. So I just thought you all should know. And, there was quite a bit that she said, but she's going to finish her cross-examination tomorrow. So I'll have a lot more to discuss with you there, but it was very, very emotional today. So more tomorrow.